Now let's see. I'm gonna talk about SmackDown. We're gonna talk about Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about the news and rumor for AEW, and then we'll talk about the podcasters and YouTubers. All right, let's see. This is working. Okay, good. I got the live stream up. This is Jacob Cast 2024. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, and we're going to talk about SmackDown on Friday. I didn't do a review on Friday because I didn't have the time. So I'll do like a quick SmackDown review. SmackDown wasn't that good, kind of boring. I don't think JD and Solomon even did one. But SmackDown, it really did suck. I mean, I think the only storyline is Drew McIntyre. The only storyline that's setting up a possible fatal format between Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Jacob Fatu for the WWE Championship. That might be the only big storyline that's really interesting. The MFTs attack Ilya Dragunov. I think it was Ilya Dragunov versus Tama Tonga. Yes, it was Tama Tonga. We did get Jay Cargill to Journey to see who's he going to face at the Chamber. We're not sure who's he going to face yet. Katana James, she qualified the Chamber. She beat Charlotte and Nia Jax, I think. Hold on. Yeah. Katana James beat. Oh wait, hold on. Just want to hurry up and get this over with. Katana James. And there's Charlotte, Nia Jax, and Nia Jax. Katana James won a pretty good match, or decent, or whatever. Obafemi defeated Kid Wilson again. This is another squash match. I know a lot of people are confused. I am. Is Obafemi on Raw or is he on SmackDown? Because he was on SmackDown on Friday. I think the show was pre-taped. I don't think it's ever live. He was also on Raw again tonight, and I think it's a bad day segment with Rusev. Tiffany Stratton versus Alba Fire. That was the next match. I think Tiffany got the victory here. We'll see what she does going into WrestleMania. Alright. So that was the other match. There was a backstage segment with Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes. They're practically teasing something, whether a heel turn or something to progress the storyline with Cody and Sami. Sami Zayn still teasing going after the WWE Championship. That was a very good segment. Also, there was another backstage segment with Jay Cargill. Michin, CT to go after Jay Cargill. We saw B-Fab in that segment. I don't know why. He's been in catering. He hasn't really done much. Now, we did get Trick Williams versus Damian Priest and Carmelo Hayes, I believe. Yes, I believe it was. Okay. There's Trick Williams, Damian Priest, Carmelo Hayes, who is the U.S. champion. Trick Williams did qualify to win this match. He beat Damian Priest and Carmelo Hayes. I think he pinned Carmelo Hayes. We also got Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Propel again. Wait, so Nia Jax and Legend attack the tag team champion Rhea and her non-title match against the women's champion Julia. Alright. Will and Io got repelled again by the Irresistible Forces. That's their tag team name for Black Legend and Nia. So they're still going after the women's tag team titles. They want them from Rhea and Io. Not that no one cares. I mean, there's no division. Who cares about that? Now, anyway, the main event of SmackDown was Randy Orton versus Aleister Black. A very good main event. Aleister Black got the victory because Drew McIntyre got involved and it screwed Randy Orton. And then I think there was a brawl with him and Cody Rhodes. Clearly they're teasing a fatal four-way with Damian Priest. With Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, and Cody Rhodes for the W Championship. They've been teasing it for about a couple of weeks now. And they still haven't told us a storyline. We still don't know who attacked Jacob Fatu. I don't know if we're going to get that. Maybe it could be Randy Orton. Drew had denied that it was him. Maybe it was Cody Rhodes. They're waiting for a shocking heel turn, but I doubt it. It could be Randy Orton. And that's what they're waiting for. Alright, so let's go into Monday Night Raw tonight. I'm pretty sure the show is already over. Now, I think the show opened up with Gunther coming out, pretty much coming out there, insulting AJ Styles in a tribute. He was assaulted by Dragon Lee. Okay. I'll just go with Gunther. Now, yeah, since Gunther and Dragon Lee was in a brawl, that was the opening of the show. Now, we did get a segment with Cody Rhodes interrupted by the Vision, and they changed some words. The Usos prevented the Vision from attacking Cody Rhodes. Clearly, they're setting up the Usos and Logan Paul and Austin Theory for the tag team titles. It might be a WrestleMania. That's what they're setting up. Now, we did get a triple threat match to see who's gonna be the final person to qualify. We had Jey Uso and it was Jey Uso, Grande Americano, and Bronson Reed. Obviously, Jey Uso got the win here, and besides, Bronson Reed got hurt. I don't know why. Chad Gable is still Grande Americano. Hopefully they kill that gimmick and the character and go back to Chad Gable and the American Made. I really hope they do that, because I'm just tired of the Grande Americano bullshit. I think a lot of fans are. It's trash. It's shit. It's not over. No one cares. But anyway, Jey Uso won. Bronson Reed got hurt. He came down with a serious injury. That's not good. Bronson Reed, too good. Now he's hurt. And that's not good for the Vision, because it's just Paul Heyman, Austin Theory, and Logan Paul. The Vision have been dead. They are slowly being killed off. Ever since Seth Rollins got hurt, it really fucked up their storylines and their plans going into the Rumble and WrestleMania. It really changed how the Vision operates. And then Braun Breaker got hurt, and that's why he got eliminated the way he did in the Rumble. And now Bronson Reed is hurt. So, if we don't do anything with Logan Paul and Austin Theory going into WrestleMania, if they don't win no tag team champion, then this whole faction is a fail. The Vision is dead. I don't think people take them seriously, and that's a shame. Now, anyway, Jey Uso qualified for the Chamber. He's now the last man to be in the men's Chamber. We finally got a segment with the woman. Liv Morgan finally chooses her WrestleMania opponent. I think we all knew it was going to be Stephanie Valkyrie. It was pretty obvious, because she was never going to wrestle Jade. Even though Jade was out there, she was on the show tonight, but it was pretty obvious. She had to smash Stephanie and then beat her up in the ring. So she's clearly going for that title. We also had a segment with Trick Williams on the show and the executive. He the color promo to hype up the show since they're in Atlanta. Now we also got a backstage segment with Obafemi and Rusev that they're cheating that match probably on Raw. And then Brock Lesnar came out with Paul Heyman. They still haven't explained why Paul Heyman's back with Brock Lesnar, but I guess Brock can easily forgive him after turning on them so many times. But Brock came out, issued an open challenge. Brock Lesnar going to be advertised for 5 Monday Night Raw shows. So he's not going to be on next week. So he'll be off TV for I think 2 weeks. He'll be off TV. Okay, I don't think he's on next week. He'll be on March 16th, and then October 3rd until April 13th, which is the go home show for Raw. So he'll be on the show he'll be on 5 Raw for 5 weeks. We'll see who faces Brock Lesnar, whether it's Obafemi or it's gonna be Gunther. LA Knight, that's not a match I want to see. But we'll have to wait and see who Brock Lesnar will face at WrestleMania. Alright. We also had a pretty good match with Kofi Kingston and Javon Evans, which I thought was a very good match. Thought they had a great ending. Again, Javon Evans over. He also was in the chamber, by the way. I forgot that Grayson Waller did with the New Day. And I forgot that the New Day are heels. But I'm way dumb up with it. But Javon Evans did beat Kofi Kingston. We had a pretty decent promo with CM Punk. Pretty much taunting Finn Balor and Roman Reigns. What the? Come on now. Hold on. I hate when this happens. Sorry about that. I'm trying to show the other match. I think like one more match after review. Oh, come on now with the... I guess I'm my nerve, man. It really does. Alright, hold on. The Worst War of 2026. Yeah, because this wasn't a good show. This was a shit show that nobody cared about. Okay. Now, I'm not going to talk about NXT. Nothing must happen besides Ethan Page and Ricky Saint, Mara Barn, and of course, Ethan Page. Alright. So we got Raquel Rodriguez claims her final chamber spot. She defeated Io Sky and Kairi Sane in the triple threat match to claim the last chamber. So that was the main event. And then the main event segment was AJ Styles' legendary career. Yes, so I thought. Yeah, I thought the show was terrible. Even with Brock Lesnar on the show. Alright. Who is there? Kairi Sane, Io Sky. I think those are all the matches here. I really thought that the show sucked. Obviously, Gunther beat him up. Jey Uso, he won the triple threat match. Natalia beat up Maxine Dupree. Javon Evans beat Kofi Kingston. Raquel is qualified for this match. You know, SmackDown, I thought SmackDown was worse. Monday Night Raw is no better. Alright, so,
Official reports confirm that Lego Pokemon creatures are finally here and have started appearing around the world.
I don't think Raquel's gonna win it. I'd be shocked if she does. Because I don't know who is she gonna even face.
This is my scalp before and after using Native's new scalp care collection. I'm partnering up with Native to uncover a body part that you may
Okay.
ignore. I wanted to be single.
It was a great vignette that they showed here for AJ. AJ Styles' retirement celebration. Is it still on? The Undertaker. Do we have other wrestlers there? Unfinished business. Oh, I might have show y'all some of the podcasters.
Right, like, to me, you got to go that route. You got to go Randy Orton, legend killer versus career killer. That's what I'm thinking. Because somebody says Gunther wins Battle Royal at Mania. That ain't happening.
Bronson Reed suffered major injury.
Was so much better. And again, I do need to stress this because I know it is a big talking point in America. I am not down on people speaking.
So we actually had The Undertaker on the show.
And Heyman said that traditionally, WrestleMania has two main events. One being the world title match and the other being Undertaker's match. However, Brock Lesnar conquered the streak and now the main event spot has gone to Lesnar. And the only dead man is the one who faces Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And they...
There. We got unfinished. Just be an ambassador for the company. Yeah, that's like his new role. Yeah, I think that's terrific for him.
Okay, well, there's Joe Cronin.
Okay, and then it got better because then he got inducted in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it just got better and better. So that was really cool. I also didn't know Brock Lesnar was going to be here, so that was kind of all right. I mean, nothing was really done. Bronson Reed is dead. The Vision is cursed. That group is cursed. Just end it. Like, Bronson Reed is injured again, probably out for who knows how long. Seth Rollins is injured, out for whatever. And Braun Breaker has damn near paralyzed himself 3 times or something like that. The group is cursed at this point. I'm willing to tell you it's cursed. Like, injury after injury, even a fake injury started with Seth Rollins. I mean, they like cursed the karma gods or something like that with that. Let's fake an injury. Oh, guess what? You're going to get real one. You're going to get a real injury. That's what's going to happen. Pretty crazy.
That was the big thing in the main event of the show, this segment. AJ Styles is going into the Hall of Fame. That was a big shock tonight.
You know? Vision is cursed.
Yeah, it is. You might have to break them up. Now it's just Austin Theory and Logan Paul. Logan Paul don't need to be as fast, and he's fine on his own. I don't think you need Paul Heyman. Austin Theory, no one's going to take him seriously. Austin Theory and Logan Paul are going to be a tag team specialist. They've been teasing the guard to the Usos, so I think they will face the Usos for the tag team titles. And if they win it, so what? Who cares? It's not doing anything. And I can see him in the main event scene. The Vision is dead. The Judgment Day hasn't really been the same. It's only been about the woman. the MST and the Wyatt sit. Who cares about that fasting? There's no fasting that we care about. Oh, hold on.
I mean, at this point, what are we doing? Are you going to have to put Brock in there now? Now it's Brock and Logan and Theory. That's going to be your Vision. You know, the Masked Man. You know, if there was going to be the Masked Man versus Braun Breaker, maybe they were going to use Bronson Reed as a replacement, and the Masked Man was going to face him at WrestleMania. But now you don't have Reed either. I think the whole Masked Man angle might have to be dropped until the Vision is healthy again. So I'm curious now how this is going to affect whatever story WWE had planned. Like, at this point, if they've been holding out hope, like, they might not know yet, but if they've been hoping that Rollins and Breaker are healthy for WrestleMania, are they like, you know what, we just got to forget the whole thing. The entire Vision, everything surrounding the Vision is just put on hold until after WrestleMania. Everybody's hurt. Let's not try to worry about who's ready and what we can do. I mean, at this point, if Breaker and Rollins were even ready for WrestleMania, it feels like that would have to be close to a last-minute decision, which means you'd only have a short amount of time to put that together on TV. Not that you would really need it, because they both had a lot to do with each other, and they already have a ton of history, and of course, Breaker attacking Rollins right after that deal and knocking him out of the Vision when he got hurt and whatnot. But still, you know, it's like, you don't want to hinge a big WrestleMania match like that on a what if, or we don't know, or we're going to play it by ear. There's just too much bad luck in the Vision. Too many injuries. Reed out, Breaker out, Rollins out. You have no Vision left at all. Plus, on the side, as a side hustle, Heyman, you got Heyman advocating for Brock again. So I guess you could bring Brock into the Vision if you want to keep the Vision going. But the Vision is a faction named after Seth Rollins, and then Bronson Reed stepped up to lead the Vision. Now he's out. Breaker stepped up to lead. Now he's out. Now then Reed stepped up to lead. Now he's out. Then Logan's going to be the Vision leader. The Vision doesn't exist in my mind. I mean, Logan and Theory, their association with Paul Heyman, what is that even going to mean now? So, you know, maybe Heyman has to change the whole name of the faction. You know, the Vision is no more. The Vision will rise again. But the core of the Vision, the men that made the Vision, Rollins, Reed, and Breaker are all out. So I'm going to rename this faction an interim new name or something like that. Maybe. Until the Vision comes back, they will be the Dangerous Alliance. Brock Lesnar, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory. What an unholy trinity. Those three fuckers. So maybe they're the new Dangerous Alliance, and that's going to be the placeholder name for the Vision until everybody comes back, and that could be something you could do. We've had storylines in pro wrestling similar to this, but like I said, Rollins, Breaker, Reed, all out, right? So the Vision essentially does not exist. The Vision was named after Seth Rollins. He recruited Breaker. He recruited Reed. Without those three guys, it should not even be called the Vision. In the meantime, Heyman is still advocating for Brock Lesnar. Logan and Theory are still a part of the Vision, although they were late additions. So, what if Heyman says, no more Vision until they come back, or the Vision will rise again, and until they do, this is going to be known as the Dangerous Alliance. And doesn't get any more dangerous than a man with so much upside that he's going to be main eventing WrestleManias for decades to come. A man with a fist so powerful and a following so big on social media. You know, he can take you out at a moment's notice. And of course, Brock Lesnar, this and that, and the Beast and all that shit. And this is the Dangerous Alliance. And then, maybe all the Vision members are healthy. Maybe Rollins has gotten over Breaker attacking him, and he comes back, and now you got Vision, you got Breaker, Reed, Rollins on one side, you got Theory, Brock, and Logan on the other, and Heyman between them. I can already see the pay-per-view cover for this with Heyman looking between the two. Or it's, you know what it is? It's the Seinfeld with the Bizarro friends, and then they all meet on the street. Jerry, Kramer, George, fake Jerry, Kramer, George, and a lane in the middle. It can be just like that. But that kind of doesn't make sense because Rollins, when he comes back, he's going to be wanting some breaker. And now with everything that's happened here tonight and the horrible luck, I don't even know if WWE wants to even try anymore with this. Forget it. Just fuck it. Let's just table the entire thing until all three of these fuckers are 100%. But Rollins, I think, is still going to be back early and he's going to be a part of Mania, but what would he even do at this point, I mean, one thing you could do, here's an idea. Here's an alternative storyline direction. If Rollins is healthy enough to work WrestleMania, but Breakker is not. Breaker's hernia is going to keep him out past WrestleMania. We know Reed's going to be out now. But let's say Rollins is ready. One thing you could do is... Oh, that would suck, though. You could have him cost Punk the title at the Chamber, and then you do Punk and Rollins. But we've already seen that. But we thought we were going to see Punk and Rollins maybe at WrestleMania, the way things were going, the way Rollins screwed him over. But Rollins has already screwed Punk out of the title so many times. If he does it again, you'd almost have to book a Hell in a Cell match or something at WrestleMania. Where Punk is just incensed. But then now you got Roman and Balor. So that's probably not going to happen either. We will see. I fear that Reed's injury is really going to trip up WWE creatively, and they are already in a situation where I don't trust them creatively. They don't feel like they got their shit together to me at all. So this is only going to complicate things for them because, as we've seen, some other injuries and how they handle it, they usually handle injuries in the absolute most lazy way possible, and they never take advantage of an unfortunate situation. They never try to take a negative and turn it into a positive, or take advantage of a unique, albeit bad, and unfortunate opportunity. Like I said earlier, or like I said months ago, when Rollins dropped the title, you could have done so many other great things. And a fun, you could have done a tournament Survivor Series. You could have taken this unfortunate incident and turned it into something fun for the fans, and they made absolutely no effort whatsoever to do that. So I don't think they're going to really bend over backwards to work around this Reed.
So I like being on the winning team. Yeah, that's why I switched to Google Pixel. Gemini, help me come up with a race win speech that sounds like it came from me.
You'd say something like, thanks.
Perfect.
It's easy for the screen to steal our time. Less can free you to find more. Full of protein,
I was screaming, oh. You'll sign to lead. But, no, I think it was just, it was fantastic. I was very happy with what they did there. We got Sheldon Jackson here, says, who is the Hall of Famer headliner this year? AJ Styles or Stephanie McMahon? That is a tough, okay, look, I think for the wrestling fans, like the hardcore wrestling fans, the ones that Robin was talking about, the sickos, it's AJ Styles. But for the WWE universe, I would say it's Stephanie.
Stephanie was a huge character. I mean, she's really popular.
Yeah.
She was involved in some big angles back in the day, too, including some that didn't make it to TV.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I grew up, when I was little, I was a Stephanie McMahon fan because, I'm a little girl with brown hair and brown eyes. I don't think Stephanie has brown eyes, but she had brown hair. But I just want to get your initial thoughts to start off.
Well, yeah, the vision, right? Like, you're not seeing the vision for the vision because of this. And there are, doing sports talk as long as I did, you get people who go, you're making excuses. And I always like to make a differentiator of there's excuses and there are reasons, right? And Triple H, I don't understand any criticism of him in this regard because you can't put the responsibility of the vision maybe not working out at the footsteps of creative when people keep getting, or the doorstep of creative when people keep getting hurt one after the other. Seth Rollins was the visionary for the vision. Braun Breaker was supposed to be like lead henchman and got elevated into the big role. Then he's hurt. Bronson Reed is supposed to be next up in that role, filling in for Braun Breaker. He's been saying it the last couple of weeks, and I think it was obvious he was going to win this match, go into the Elimination Chamber and represent the Vision. And now, what do you do with that group? I mean, it's Austin Theory and Logan Paul. Do you put the tag titles on them really quickly? Something to elevate them? Because, through the fault of no one in particular, this was supposed to be this monster heel faction, and now it's a faction that all needs to heal. That's the deal with the Vision right now. And you mentioned it with I saw the ref. Well, first of all, I could tell he tore his bicep immediately when I saw the replay and the way he went, and you could see it. You could see the bicep kind of tear, and then he went and reached for it right there, but you can see like the muscle let go. So I knew right away. I texted somebody, he tore his bicep, which is a significant injury. He's going to be on the shelf for 8 minutes. That's a big time recovery. So there's that aspect of it. And then I saw the ref talking to Jey Uso on the outside too, where he was clearly probably, figuring out how they get to the finish. And Anna, because
you're right.
Yeah, it's rough. I don't know what else. And they were such.
Bye.
I mean, you kind of have to at this point.
I was screaming Oba, like I was trying to use all my witchy powers to manifest Oba Femi coming out there. And no, it did not happen. When they were saying like, oh, does anybody on the roster have the balls to do it? I'm like, Oba, he even wears them around his neck. But seriously, I was kind of a little bit upset that he didn't come out then and there.
Well, I mean, look, one of two things, right? They don't have the answer yet, and they're stretching, or they are building the anticipation for that payoff. And I think it's going to be okay. I do. LA Knight doesn't make sense within the construct of here's the guy who's going to challenge him. That's just not LA Knight's. Like if it were going to be LA Knight and Brock Lesnar, it would be some way that LA Knight got screwed by Brock Lesnar in the process, or whatever the case, where he had vengeance on his mind. I don't think it's like I'm
show right now, but I gotta chill out for 2K here for a second because no, for real.
Turn your kitchen into a restaurant.
Ready, chef.
With Kraft Signature Shreds. You could have saved different people. I was in Atlanta, and looking at the lineup for tonight's show, I was actually looking forward to it because they had a lot of different things listed for tonight. We had the final 2 qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber, which is coming up this weekend. We had the AJ Styles tribute. Didn't know what to expect there, but I was looking forward to that. We have not seen AJ. We have not heard from AJ since he was retired by Gunther at the Royal Rumble. They were advertising Brock Lesnar would be on the show tonight. And whatever you think about Brock Lesnar being back, if you like him being back, if you have no use for him, I was curious to see what the direction would be for him heading into WrestleMania. Who exactly would they be pairing him off with heading into Mania? So I figured we would get a sense of what that match was going to look like. And then they had a few other things that they had advertised. It was shaping up to be, for a go-home show, before a PLE, a pretty big show. And I'm going to start with the only real redeeming part of this entire show tonight, the best part of the show, which was the conclusion of the show. We had AJ Styles coming out in his home state of Georgia to say goodbye to the fans. And he got to stand in the middle of the ring and give a speech, and his family, his wife, his kids, most of them were in the front row, and he got to say all the things that he wanted to say and lay his vest in the middle of the ring and lay his gloves down on the vest, because the Rumble, he did not leave his gloves in the ring. And that got a lot of people talking and thinking, well, he was done in the ring, he would have left his gloves laying on the mat. WWE, Frankie Kazarian, who works for TNA, we had Abyss. Yes, Chris Park was dressed up as the old monster Abyss for the first time here, ever, on WWE television. And I'm thinking, man, this is going to be something else, right? They're going to send all these people down to the ring. It's like what they did with Ric Flair all those years ago after WrestleMania when he supposedly retired and then fucked it all up. and he was laughing and yucking it up with the Undertaker in there, and then his wife and kids got in the ring, and he embraced them, and it was a beautiful moment.
You know?
At the end of the show. It's kind of wild to me that AJ's going in before John Cena. But
all the years
it was a
that
beautiful
I grew
moment.
up watching the
And I almost hate that it happened on this show.
I grew up watching King.
Because as far as the rest of the show is concerned, it really is too bad that it came tonight. Because, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say this. Not only was this show easily the worst Raw of the entire year so far. I mean, it's not even close. The worst Raw of the entire year. This is one of the worst Monday Night Raws that I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay? And I don't say that lightly. And there have been some horrendous Raws over the years. And I'm not saying it's the worst. But it is among the worst that I have ever seen.
Yeah, this show sucks.
Because I sit here now as we head into WrestleMania, which is now less than 8 weeks away. We're heading into Elimination Chamber this weekend. I feel nothing. Nothing.
Me neither.
I'm numb. I feel nothing for WrestleMania this year. I watch these shows every single week, and I pointed out to all of you last week.
Do we have a pause?
This crowd, there's a trend here.
Yeah.
Where these crowds, I mean, you listen to these crowds, and it sounds like someone who took a sleeping pill before a long flight. And you see comments online from people, oh man, Atlanta, man, what's wrong with these people, man? This crowd was dead. You may as well do a copy and paste with every city they're in week after week. At what point do people stop blaming the crowds and start blaming the product that they are being given? I'm not going to sit here and shit on the people of Atlanta, just like I'm not going to shit on the people of Chicago or New York or LA or Detroit or any other city that they bring this show to, because they are sending a message to WWE. They are clearly disinterested in the majority of what they are seeing. Now, they're still buying tickets to these shows, and of course the question will be that the next time they come to town, are they still going to buy tickets to these shows to go sit on their hands? Because if they do, then they have nobody to blame but themselves. But there is a message, a clear message that is being sent here based on the reactions of these people who were sitting in the crowd on these shows. Do you not see this? Do you not understand why, after so many of these segments, and I saw it tonight, I was paying attention, I saw it tonight, where people are like, man, these people didn't react to anything that happened in that segment. And then 2 segments later, man, this crowd sounds like it's asleep. Yeah, no shit. That's what happens when you get a bad show. And that, to me, those are the worst kinds of shows. Like, I've sat through Raws in the past, written by Vince McMahon, right? He probably blew them up and wrote it himself, where there are segments on the show that actually offend me. Like, they're so bad they're offensive. That's not even what this is. It's just boring. And to me, those are the worst kinds of shows. I almost wish that it was so bad I could laugh at it. Like, oh, it's so bad it's good. I can't even say that. They're just boring. They're lifeless. Absolutely lifeless. And I'm watching this and I'm waiting for something exciting to happen to get me really pumped up for the Elimination Chamber. And then I realized when the show was over that the best thing on the entire show had absolutely nothing to do with the Elimination Chamber. It was a beautiful tribute. It was a beautiful moment at the end of the night for AJ Styles. It had nothing to do with the show that they are selling on Saturday. When this show was over, I said, I almost don't even believe there is a PLE on Saturday. Like, I was done watching this, and I'm like, I have to assume they're going to wait a little bit before they announce who his opponent is going to be. And the crowd was giving them a clear indication of who they want that opponent to be. And they were chanting, Oba, Oba. Are they listening? We'll see. We'll see.
It does make sense, because it gives something for, Oba Femi should be in WrestleMania. You want to get over, and stop giving him the jobber message. Stop having Oba wrestle Kit Wilson on SmackDown and Oba in the jobber message. Give him a big opponent like Brock Lesnar. It's not going to be Gunther. I don't know who Gunther's going to face. Hope it's not Dragon Lee, but it could be Rey Mysterio if they're building to that. But have Brock Lesnar and Oba and get Oba over.
Brock Lesnar appearances are going to look like on the road to WrestleMania when he shows up and absolutely nothing happens, which is what happened tonight. Absolutely nothing. Like, it could have been an email, right? You've heard that expression? That segment could have been an email. This is what they were promoting for all the people that buy tickets to come to Atlanta to see Brock Lesnar. That was the Brock Lesnar segment on tonight's show, and they're going to do an open challenge because they don't have the Undertaker streak anymore. And so now the big attraction is going to be the Brock Lesnar Open Challenge, apparently, at WrestleMania every year. I'm not even fully convinced that they have finalized what their plans are for Brock Lesnar or half a dozen other people at WrestleMania. I really do. I truly get the sense that they don't even know yet what the actual full card is going to be. But look, they don't have The Rock, and they don't have John Cena. So what are they going to build WrestleMania around? What's the big attraction for WrestleMania this year, right? Outside of Punk and Roman, right? It's the Brock Lesnar Open Challenge. Are they even going to tell us before we get to WrestleMania? Maybe we'll find out the night of. We may not even find out before we get to WrestleMania. We have the final qualifiers tonight for the Elimination Chamber. On the women's side, Tiffany Stratton, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Asuka, Kiana James, and now Raquel Rodriguez rounds out the lineup. So those are the 6 women who are going to be in the Elimination Chamber tonight. It wasn't even entirely their fault. Reed. Unfortunately, Bronson Reed was injured. Yes, another vision injury. And what did I say previously? What did I say? When Braun Breaker got hurt, I said the vision is cursed. The vision is cursed. If you didn't believe me then, you believe me now. Ever since Seth Rollins faked that knee injury last year, right, and a couple months later, he ends up hurting his shoulder. And then Braun Breaker gets hurt, and now Bronson Reed is hurt. What that means for the Mystery Man angle, there may not be a Mystery Man angle no more. I don't know where they're going to go with that now. He was supposed to be in the Elimination Chamber this weekend. I've seen WrestleVotes and PW Insider, and multiple different outlets now have confirmed that he was scheduled to win that match tonight. And it was very clear during the match itself that they were kind of scrambling to figure out what's going on here, and the referee was trying to feed messages to Gable and Jey Uso to let them know what the new finish was. So Jey Uso being in the Elimination Chamber was not the original plan. It's not great, but again, shit happens. It wasn't planned that way, and it sucks for Bronson Reed. You know, previously he had suffered the foot injury coming off the top of the cage in War Games, and that took him a while to come back from. He's still not fully 100% recovered from that. He never will be. He says he lives in constant pain, but he gets by. You know, when he goes out to the ring and he wrestles, he kind of puts it out of his mind, but that's an injury that's going to haunt him for the rest of his life. This injury was a distal biceps tear, which is probably going to need surgery, and that's going to be anywhere from 4 to 6 months. He's gone. This is not going to be a quick thing. He's probably not going to be on television for a while. He is gone. The Vision is now a tag team. The Vision is now down to Logan Paul and Austin Theory. And honestly, at this point, you may as well just blow the whole thing up and start all over again. I don't know what you do now. I really don't. I don't know where you go now with the Vision. But this group is fucking cursed.
It did.
There really isn't a whole lot more to say.
I knew it was going to fail. I knew they weren't going to succeed when Seth Rollins was champion. Seth Rollins is not fit to lead a group. He doesn't need Paul Heyman. Braun Breaker doesn't need to be no lackey, or Bronson Reed doesn't need to be no lackey. Logan Paul doesn't need to be in a group. He's better on his own. Austin Theory, no one can take him seriously. I don't think Paul Heyman should even be with Austin Theory and Logan Paul. To just have Theory and Paul be a tag team, go after the Usos and whatever. Paul Heyman, he back with Brock Lesnar.
Say about that. And I mentioned Liv Morgan made her WrestleMania decision. And that was it. I mean, again, you watch this show and just segment after segment, it's hard to sit through these shows. This is the period of the time of year where, honestly, WWE television and Monday Night Raw should be at its apex, right? It should be at its most exciting. When you look at the calendar and you look at some of these, like, dead zones, right? John Cena made that comment when he was on the No Contest Wrestling podcast, and he said the reason he wanted to do his retirement in December was because typically it's a dead zone between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble where it's the holidays and there's not a whole lot that happens. So instead of me doing my retirement match at WrestleMania, why don't we try to generate some money at a dead period? And there are other dead periods during the year too, like post-WrestleMania, when you look at like May or June, and, you know, post-SummerSlam. This is the period, this is the time of year right here that it's supposed to be the exact opposite. And I haven't been this bored watching WWE programming in a very long time, and it shouldn't be this way. It should not be this way. A lot about themselves. Keep your eyes peeled. Which I'm sure a lot of people were doing a lot of, trying to get Gunther's attention. And Gunther is in the...
Alright, I'm going to show y'all JD from New York. He's another podcaster I want to show y'all. Hold on.
Open challenge. Why is he not... I'll see you over there. I'm still waiting to feel that WrestleMania season. I don't see anything but doom and gloom. I've been watching Stranger Things lately. I finally
So AJ Styles leaves it gloved in the ring.
made it to season 5. During the snowstorm yesterday, I watched a good 5 episodes of Stranger Things. And I got, how many left? 4 more episodes left? Bro, WWE, you know, coming out of WrestleMania 40, bro, we've been living in the upside down for about 2 years now. Genuinely. I don't know what the fuck this place is. I don't know what happened to the same people that were booking that shit. I don't know what happened to these shows. I don't know what happened to the get up and go and take over the world mentality that this company once had. They took great pride in giving you the best fucking show. They gave you excitement. They gave you unpredictability. They gave you story. And not all of it was great. Nothing ever is. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at this WWE product today, you look at tonight's show, specifically, uninspired, lifeless. This is a company operating without a heart. This is a company operating without a soul. Period. There's not a single dose of excitement anywhere on this show. There's not a single dose of excitement anywhere in this entire company right now. On Monday or Friday. Outside of the AJ Styles tribute, and outside of AJ Styles getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame by the Grim Reaper himself, because that's what they've turned The Undertaker into. They've turned him into a happy Grim Reaper where he comes bearing good news. Every time you see him, that's his new gimmick. Yeah, you're going into the Hall of Fame, man. Congratulations. Outside of all of that, which we'll have an opinion on at the end of the show, this was the worst Monday Night Raw of the entire year. This was the worst Monday Night Raw. This might have been the worst WWE show all year. Outside of the 1-year anniversary show on Netflix, which was fucking terrible. You know, I want to start with, there was a lot of bad that happened on tonight's show. I mean, Bronson Reed got injured in a fundamental breaking up a pinfall from Jey Uso to Grande Americano. Bronson Reed tore his bicep. Gonna be out 6 months. Guy goes from being the number 2 in command in the division to then going to leader of the division de facto because Braun Breaker's out, to hopefully qualifying for the Elimination Chamber and getting to WrestleMania, to now missing the Chamber, missing WrestleMania, and basically putting himself on the shelf till SummerSlam. But you know what the most egregious thing of all tonight was? WWE flew in Brock Lesnar. WWE flew in Brock Lesnar tonight. And everybody was chirping on social media, oh, Brock's back. What does WWE got planned for Brock Lesnar that they're bringing him to a random Monday Night Raw week before the Elimination Chamber? Is he going to steal someone's spot in the Elimination Chamber? Is he going to attack the winner of the last qualifying match and maybe steal their spot? Was he going to wrestle on tonight's show? Oh, man. I got a better chance of Stephanie Becker saying yes if I ask her out on a date than fucking Brock Lesnar wrestling on this show. What are you fucking kidding me? No. Maybe Brock wrestles on this show. Or maybe they set up his WrestleMania opponent. WWE kind of did that. They maybe did that. They flew Brock Lesnar into Atlanta to have him bounce around in the aisleway and stand there looking around confused while Paul Heyman spoke about an open challenge taking place at WrestleMania because there's nobody man enough in the back. There's nobody man enough today in the back, but there'll be someone man enough at WrestleMania, though. No one man enough to step up to the beast at WrestleMania. At the same time, WWE clearly wanted you to know, as they shilled Brock Lesnar's schedule for Monday Night Raw, as if he's gracing us with his presence, you know, during WrestleMania season. These are the list of dates, and there's like 5 or 6 dates, all on the road to WrestleMania in March, that Brock will be on Monday night. I'll give you one guess as to who came out. Nobody. Nobody came out. As Brock Lesnar's dancing around, nobody came out. You fly this guy in after there's this terrible feeling about Brock Lesnar even being back in general. To have him get a lukewarm reaction on a lifeless episode of Raw, and then you don't follow up with any plans whatsoever for Brock Lesnar. So what's the plan? What's the idea here for an open challenge? Lesnar's going to show up 5 or 6 times on the road to WrestleMania to do what? To claim that nobody's man enough to answer the open challenge and no one comes out? Or Brock Lesnar issuing an open challenge and then we have people come out who clearly will not be Brock Lesnar's opponent and will clearly be eaten and mauled like the grizzly bear that Brock Lesnar is? I don't think WWE even realizes what they need to do with Brock Lesnar. I don't think WWE has a fucking plan for Brock Lesnar, to be quite honest with you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I do know, but
I like being on the winning team. Yeah, that's why I switched to Google Pixel. Gemini, help me come up with a
No. What is so difficult? What? You're gonna sell us on what? We gotta wait 2 fucking months for someone to answer Brock Lesnar's open challenge? Who the fuck is it? Who is it? It doesn't even make any sense. Who's on the roster that's gonna answer the open challenge? Why is he not there, but all of a sudden he's gonna appear at WrestleMania? The answer is simple. For all we know, the fucking guy who comes out of the mystery crate is gonna answer the open challenge. For all we know, that it'll be fucking Danhausen answering the open challenge. Brock Lesnar is one of the biggest acts that you have, no matter what you think of him. One of the biggest acts on the show. And you guys just randomly trot him out there amidst all the allegations that are surrounding him. And you don't do anything to enhance him being on television. You don't do anything to calm the flames of people who have this terrible opinion of him. WrestleMania tickets are sorely lacking. This is WWE's fault. This is TKO's fault. They want to quiet everybody in the greater Las Vegas area by shutting down watch-alongs, and they want to shut down watch parties. Now, you can't show the show, because that's going to take away from people filling the venue. Well, if you actually sold tickets at a human rate for people to actually attend the shows, maybe you won't have to shut down the fucking watch-alongs. And people would be willing to go. You got this guy on the show. You advertise him for the show. People pay money to be there because Lesnar's going to be advertised. And that's what you do. An open challenge. Why couldn't this have been done by Paul Heyman alone? Why did we need Brock Lesnar out there? Why couldn't this have been done as he filmed something in Saskatchewan and he emailed the fucking file to WWE PR? I don't understand it. You got this guy out there, you got this guy on the show in the ring, and you do nothing to follow up anything. And like I said, the tickets and the vibe around WrestleMania are sorely lacking. What the fuck are you waiting for? You got Obafemi in the back mixing it up with fucking Rusev. You got Obafemi on SmackDown reading poems with Kit Wilson. And then you got Brock Lesnar on the fucking show. And then nowhere to be seen is Obafemi. Do you think it's going to get a bigger reaction at WrestleMania when Obafemi finally answers the open challenge instead of giving people something to look forward to? I don't know, maybe building a fucking dialogue or a story between them. The open challenge is fucking lame. It's WWE's version of telling you, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. They are completely incapable of telling any story. This is why they do it. Either that or Lesnar doesn't want to tell any fucking story. But we gotta wait for 6 Brock Lesnar appearances as he comes out and waits for people to answer this open challenge, with ultimately nobody answering until the day of WrestleMania. Bro, people were legitimately chanting. The one thing that people were chanting for in Atlanta, they fucking sucked! These people chanted Oba. You know what the fans want. You know what the fans want to see. Yet you produce nothing. Nothing. You got Lesnar, use him. You got Femi there, use him. You already fucked up the face-to-face in the Royal Rumble, yet the elimination happened and nobody made a big deal about it. I did, because it was fucking terrible. Then Lesnar gets eliminated while everybody's fucking eating. And then you legitimately air a Rusev and Obafemi segment right before Lesnar comes out, and they're in the same building, and nothing? Nothing. Not a bump of a shoulder, not a glance from across the room, nothing. Bro, you do not hate WWE. You do not hate WWE enough. This is WrestleMania season. I can absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, speak for everybody and say we're tired of waiting. This greed that has come over WWE over the last year and a half is disgusting. It's bad enough you pushed WrestleMania back last year to 19 and 20 of April. Easter weekend. You're doing the same thing again this year. You push WrestleMania back an extra couple of weeks. That doesn't mean you get to take a couple of weeks off during the road to WrestleMania. We need to see results. And we've seen nothing. Nothing. Waiting and waiting and waiting on things to transpire when Triple H and Bruce Pritchard want them to take place. Waiting on stories, waiting on angles, waiting on match announcements. Bro, on top of who wins the Royal Rumble, and on top of who the championship matches will be, what the championship matches will be, you should at the same time already be in the process of giving us WrestleMania caliber stories surrounding even the Royal Rumble winners. It doesn't stop there. WWE's got this vicious habit. When they complete the Royal Rumble and you get the Women's Royal Rumble and the Men's Royal Rumble winner, they sit on this decision. They sit. Why? Bro, you should automatically know, if you're a human being, where you want to go. They announced CM Punk and Roman Reigns almost instantaneously because this is legitimately the biggest match that they got at their disposal outside of Punk and Cody. So they got that one out there because not only is it the biggest, it's the one that's going to draw the most interest. And they need to draw a lot of interest because their fucking ticket sales are slacking big time. That's why they announced it. And then Reigns takes another 4 weeks off. We'll see him in March with Lesnar. Oh, he'll be on the show next Monday. It's great. Thanks for coming to work. They got this terrible mentality of just waiting. Bro, half the WrestleMania card should already be set in stone. Half of it. This is a company operating as if they don't have anything for WrestleMania at all, and it's February 23rd. I don't give a shit about slumping ticket sales. I don't give a fuck about snowstorms. I don't give a fuck about injuries. I don't give a shit. You are the professionals. Make something happen that is going...
You can win anytime, anywhere. Buy official lottery tickets online and come up...
Sit around, not excited. We are tired of waiting. You need to produce. You need to produce, and we want to see the results. We deserve to see the results. I've been very hard on AEW. Very. But there's no bones about it. AEW is putting on better television than WWE is right now. They're not great by any stretch. But man, the things that are supposed to be important, they are giving you the feeling of importance. I have a very difficult time finding what's important on this show.
Me neither.
And I don't understand how people aren't up in arms about what we're getting. I don't get how you're a fan and you're not up in arms about how fucking soulless these shows are. Using Lesnar as a prop to shill his schedule to potentially sell tickets because Brock Lesnar's going to be appearing on these shows. Well, here's what Lesnar's schedule is. Buy your tickets at your discretion. That's what you brought him to Monday Night Raw in Atlanta to do, to shill his Monday Night Raw schedule instead of giving us his WrestleMania opponent? We're going to give him an open challenge. This is his schedule. Have a good night, guys. You should be fucking absolutely ashamed. Ashamed at yourself for robbing every single fucking fan of some excitement on this show. And then you wonder why Lesnar doesn't get the type of reactions he used to get. Then you wonder why Lesnar is not wanted on television. Then you wonder why people are asking, why is Brock Lesnar here? Why is he eating up television time? Why is he this? Why is he that? Why is he not in jail? Why is he not this? Bro, if you gave us a stare down between Brock Lesnar and Obafemi tonight to kickstart the road to WrestleMania, I'm not asking for them every single week on the fucking show, but when Lesnar is there, create some dialogue. Maybe get Lesnar involved in what Obafemi's doing. We got nothing. So the idea is to bring Brock Lesnar to Monday Night Raw to do what? To wait around until someone answers the challenge. And then at WrestleMania, someone answers the challenge. And we don't even know if it's going to end up being Obafemi. We don't. Could be fucking LA Knight. What is LA Knight doing? With the injuries happening to the Vision, LA Knight's WrestleMania spot is fucking becoming smaller and smaller every single week. God forbid Dave is right about LA Knight and Brock Lesnar. God forbid. Awful. Absolutely fucking awful. Bronson Reed is injured. I think it's time we have a discussion about ending the Vision. The Vision is dead. The Vision died when Rollins got hurt. They were legitimately hanging on by a thread. And then Braun Breaker went out with injury, and at that point, the visual of the casket being lowered is what that was. Bronson Reed is everybody shoveling the dirt on top of the fucking open plot. It's basically what that is. The Vision is dead. Guy's gonna miss the Chamber, guy's gonna miss WrestleMania. Unless Paul Heyman has an idea for a new Vision, I don't know exactly where we're going with the Vision. The idea of Logan Paul and Bronson Reed teaming up against Seth Rollins and LA Knight is still there with Austin Theory, but that doesn't really speak to me about being WrestleMania. I don't really understand how WWE could even fathom continuing the group. It's over. You got Logan Paul, who is a Pokemon scammer, and then you got Austin Theory, who nobody gives a fuck about. Some group he got there. Alongside the Oracle, who, if you asked him, I guarantee you, he did not see this one coming. And by the way, Bronson Reed was supposed to win that match tonight with the Elimination Chamber qualifier. He was in with Jey Uso and Grande Americano, and then they had to call an audible and call Jey Uso the winner, per WrestleVotes. So good luck to everybody wanting to see a decent chamber. I'm assuming we'll get one with Cody and Randy in there, but Jay's in there now, so expect some eating on top of the pod. The Women's Elimination Chamber qualifier. I don't know if it's WWE taking a risk or making the Women's Elimination Chamber match itself a little bit more predictable. You're going to really make me want to see Alexa Bliss win the Elimination Chamber, aren't you? Javon Evans, he was in a match tonight, which was probably the best thing on the fucking show against Kofi Kingston. And my God, Natalya and Maxine Dupree, bro, we are looking at the worst television outside of the MFTs and the Wyatt Six in all of pro wrestling. I never heard a crowd of 12,000 people at the Allstate Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. I never heard a crowd of 12,000 supposedly sold out, operating as if there was 0 people in attendance. Bro, I got more heat on the House of Glory show on Friday than both Maxine Dupree and Natalya did on this show. Combined. Absolutely pathetic. Awful. This was the worst show, the worst Raw. I don't even know. Can we even put it in SmackDown's category? This was the worst Raw, comfortably, of 2026. We're going to go over the show tonight. Thank you guys for being here. We got 3,300 in the venue tonight. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We got our super chat bomb, which we're going to get into in just a little bit. But before we do that, again, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you leave a comment as well. Just sit at home. Over again. 4 security geeks came out. Shane Helms was out there with Adam Pearce. He said he'd have his guys escort him out of the building. Gunther laughed. He said he'd leave, but not because he wants him to leave. He says he's leaving on his own free will because of the disgrace of what is happening here tonight. Gunther had some words for Adam Pearce as he walked past him by ringside, which we didn't pick up. He left, and security escorted him up the aisleway. Corey Graves went on to say Gunther did speak truth that he has ended careers. Obviously he has. He's the career killer. And as that happened, then Gunther was walking up the aisleway at the stage portion of the aisleway. Dragon Lee jumped Gunther from behind on the stage as Gunther was gloating. Security tried to pull them apart. Gunther fled to the back. He threw a fit. Dragon Lee broke free. He ran through Gorilla. He jumped Gunther again in Gorilla position.
Alright, hold on.
Rule number 1, smell 24/7 fresh with Old Spice.
Want to show y'all another podcaster. This is Just Alex.
Music for a living. If we had more fans like me, maybe, just maybe, you might get a few people
Alright.
spend 10,000, 15, 30. I can understand that, but even then, absolutely not. That's still too much for me. Hell, the tickets I bought for my friend when we went to Monday Night Raw last year, that was way too much for me.
Alright, now let me show y'all the Friday Night SmackDown Media WrestleMania title plan tease. Now there was SmackDown that I didn't do a review. I already talked about it earlier. I'm going to show y'all here. It's going to be pretty quick. Alright, come on.
For joining me on this Saturday afternoon happy hour, wherever you may be. You know, I got home last night, and I see nothing but fear and dread all over social media. Apparently, we're getting 28 inches of snow if you look at the fear-mongering on social media. I hate New York. I know it's in my YouTube name. I hate the place where I live. I very much want it to be warmer weather. And it's sad because where I reside, yesterday was the first time I legitimately saw my front lawn in about 4 weeks. Today was the first time I could actually open the door and let the dark horse breathe from its dungeon. And now we're getting 28 inches of fucking snow tomorrow. And I can't stand it. I pray to God that somewhere a meteorologist is wrong. Ridiculous. California, Florida. Where am I going? Can't even go to Atlantic City. Apparently they're gonna get blasted too. Normally it's a little It's a little easier down there. They don't get a lot of snowfall like we get up here, but holy shit. Can't stand the snow. There was also fear and dread on social media last night after the House of Glory show. Apparently, a lot of people didn't like that I was back behind the booth. I had a great time. Happy to be back. I love House of Glory. We had a tremendous show last night. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity to be back. I had a great time last night sitting next to the one and only Solid Monster and Johnny Torres, who filled in for me for the last 11 months. I thought we did a great job last night, and I want to thank both of them for making the transition back as seamless as possible. And I thought it was a great show, man. MJF, just a consummate professional. You know, when the spotlight's on him, he is better than anybody. And I thought what he did with Zilla Fatu last night was tremendous work. Zilla, I know a lot of people look at Zilla and either A, find him too young to be anywhere so quickly, or at this early stage of his career, 3 years in the game, highly overrated. Zilla's fucking great. And normally I feel like, and I think a lot of us smart fans feel like when we see someone like that gains that type of traction, there's something special about it. And when you hear Zilla speak, and when you get Zilla in the ring with someone like MJF, I think the sky's the limit for him. Unbelievable work by those two. Charles Mason defended the House of Glory World Championship against Andrade, who, you know, I love the way Jason puts it. He is in his final form. And I 100% agree with that. This is the best we've ever seen Andrade look. And it's amazing how the difference between legitimately, I would say 9 months. The last time we saw him was at SummerSlam. And he was in that ladder match with Ray Phoenix. From there to where we see him now, completely different person. He's unbelievable. I listen, since the black and gold days, Andrade's been fucking tremendous. He's a lot more polished and he's a lot put together, a lot more put together now. But he's always been great. We've always thought he was one of the best pro wrestlers on the planet. I just felt like he needed a mouthpiece and he needed some sort of voice behind what he does in the ring, and that's why Zelina did so great with him. And I love that act. And then Vince tore that act apart, and then he was left all on his own, and I don't really think that helped him at all on the main roster. Because then they get a sense of who he really is, and then they get a vision of him, and then he's cast aside like some fucking piece of garbage. That's where Glory's going. And I couldn't be more excited about the future. The brand, from when I first started, 8 years ago, 8.5 years ago, to where the brand is now, I didn't really want to, but I did it anyway. And the reaction that we got, man, that made me smile, because a lot of the people that I watch and I am a huge fan of, I live for those reactions, man. I think that's fucking great. You know, I was like, SmackDown. The reason why I wasn't live last night is because I was at House of Glory, and the reason why we're doing SmackDown tonight. I know we're not going to be expecting a huge audience here. Fridays are usually never a big audience for SmackDown, because I think a lot of people have seen the consistency of the show and they're not on board. The show is weak. It's 3 hours of a lot of fluff, and in that 3 hours you may cherry pick a little something here and a little something there that you like. Last night was more of the same. A 3-hour show that, in my honest opinion, wasn't terrible. It was a lot better than the last couple of weeks that we've gotten, where it was just straight up boring. Last night we got a couple of Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. We got one shock outcome in the Women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. The men's, not so much. I think everybody anticipated Trick Williams advancing to the Elimination Chamber. I don't think people who watched the show last night expected Charlotte Flair to get eliminated from title contention going into WrestleMania. I thought everybody expected Charlotte Flair to win the Women's Elimination Chamber match last night. Instead, they gave that to Kiana James. And I think Kiana James has done a very good job on the main roster. She brings a sense of legitimacy because she wrestles like a wrestler. She moves like a wrestler. She takes a bump like a wrestler, where most of these women, you know, they're not very good, and they don't like to bump, and it just looks sloppy as shit. And I know a lot of people are high on several other wrestlers on the roster, and I think a lot of people are overlooking how good Kiana James actually can be. The potential is there. You see it in the way she moves. You see it in the way she operates. The potential is there. So just like Javon Evans in the men's, eliminate to win the Elimination Chamber.
DJ, we're leaving.
There's a little spice in there. I think I'm gonna stay.
WWE wants to throw a wrench into the gears of the predictable aspect of their television program. How do we do that? WWE can easily give the Elimination Chamber to Cody Rhodes, and then all roads, pun intended, leads to Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes one-on-one is not good enough for WrestleMania, no matter how good both guys are. I don't want to see something main event WrestleMania in the same fashion we've seen it 7 times before. This main evented WrestlePalooza, and we're still dealing with the dilemma of Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre going into WrestleMania. The one thing you cannot do is give me the same main event we saw in September, and we've seen it 6 times since then. No. Jacob Fatu, another guy that fits into the narrative of WWE building their future. Obviously, he's going to be a major player. Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. As a one-on-one match, it's something fresh. For WrestleMania, I wouldn't mind it. But is it WrestleMania-esque? One-on-one? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we need to do a little bit more. So what did I say last week? Randy Orton wins the Elimination Chamber. Randy Orton wins the Elimination Chamber, and he's tasked with this. He's tasked with this situation because Drew McIntyre, he's got his eyes on Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes. Jacob Fatu last night mentioned he's got his eyes on Drew McIntyre. Randy Orton's just collateral damage. But Drew McIntyre basically is giving you his answer. I don't want to wrestle Jacob Fatu or Cody Rhodes. Or worse, both of them at the same time. So what is he going to do? LA Knight's on Raw. He's not winning the Elimination Chamber. It's either Cody or Randy. They're on SmackDown. Randy Orton is going to be collateral damage. He's got to take the lesser of two evils here. He's had history with Randy Orton in the past, but he doesn't want to wrestle Cody Rhodes because he already made a promise that Cody Rhodes is never getting the WWE title back and he's never going to get to WrestleMania again. So McIntyre is not defending the WWE title of the Elimination Chamber, which in my opinion is going to make way for him getting involved in that match. And I know WWE loves the Elimination Chamber situation where someone gets eliminated and the door remains open and McIntyre's going to find himself in the cage because he's going to force his way into the cage and he's going to claim more Cody Rhodes. And Randy Orton is not going to take the route that Sami Zayn took. Randy Orton is very much going to take advantage of the situation, and Randy Orton is going to beat Cody Rhodes and go to WrestleMania. And on paper, it's going to be Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. But it's not going to end up being that. Because what I say before, Drew McIntyre's actions are going to have consequences. Time and time and time and time again, he's pushed Nick Aldis' buttons. You don't think Nick Aldis is keeping a line sheet of every time Drew McIntyre has done Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu wrong? He's going to add Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes to the match because Drew McIntyre has been begging him to without actually begging him to. And we're going to be looking at a fatal four-way. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu for the WWE Championship will main event night 1 of WrestleMania. Then what do you do there? What do you do there? You can give the title back to Cody, or you can have Cody continue to chase. I think taking the title off of Cody January 9 and putting on, this WrestleMania main event with him winning it April 19th or April 18th, whenever WrestleMania is, I think that's a little bit too soon. So what I'm doing is having Randy Orton win the WWE Championship. You preserve Cody Rhodes as the babyface champion chasing the heel, and I turn Randy Orton heel. That's what I do. Now, in a perfect world, I'd love for Cody to go heel, but I don't think WWE's ready for that discussion. That's what I'd love to see. I don't think we're there yet. I think Randy Orton is going to be factored into the WrestleMania main event. I don't want to jump the gun and predict who's going to win the WWE Championship yet, being that there's 2 months still left to go. But, Joe, for last night's SmackDown, it is your Saturday, February 21st. Ilya Dragunov.
Thank you for being reliable and for sending someone
Another damn commercial.
into a stressful moment. I try to...
Dragunov. He's backstage with Carmelo Hayes. He told Hayes not to miss tonight. He was very intense. He laughed. And he said he might have been too intense here. Hayes says he doesn't need him telling him how to be. And how to be true one-on-one title program with a story that we can actually get invested in. When you start adding this guy and that guy and this guy who don't deserve it, and this guy who's been sitting around not doing much of anything, you start graying the areas of why it's important. It should feel important. Ilya Dragunov is one of the few guys on this roster that's been lobbying for the United States. Said Dragunov and Tama Tonga, 2 guys I do see in the United States Championship title picture. The MFTs are largely awful television. There is such an absolute fucking terrible vortex with the Wyatt Six and the MFTs. It is some of the worst television that you will find anywhere in professional wrestling. Nobody cares about it. It's fucking lame. And the entire premise of the storyline isn't even the tag team championships because there's no fucking division outside the MFTs and the Wyatt Six. It's all about the lantern. I don't know why the lantern is so vital to Solo Sikoa. Does he sleep with it on? Is he afraid of the fucking dark when he goes to sleep? Does he use it to find his way to the fucking refrigerator at midnight to go get himself a midnight snack? Does he find it helpful when he gets up from a nice sleep to go slumber into the restroom? Like, I don't understand it. The fucking lantern. It's all about the lantern. And it's not good television. But there's a sub-story here happening with Tama Tonga. And I'm going to tell you right now, Jeff Cobb, JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb is fucking fantastic. As a worker, he's fantastic. But creative hasn't done him any favors, and he's settled into being nothing more than like number 4 or number 3 in the MFTs. Tala Tonga is going to stand out because he's fucking big. And then you got Tama Tonga, who is in this little sub-story, and then Solo. And then Jeff Cobb, and then Tonga Loa. Nobody cares about Tonga Loa. Tama Tonga, in my opinion, if they were going to break one guy away who's got the look, the vibe, the promo, the intensity, I think it's Tama Tonga. To break him away from the MFTs and have him go solo, I think that would be a good move. Because none of this is working. They're all drowning together. And if you have any desire to build any one of these guys up and give SmackDown another good piece, another good talent for whatever you may want to use them for, then I think Tama Tonga is the right guy to break away from the MFTs and have him go single. I think he fits all the boxes, or checks all the boxes, fits the criteria. So I like what they're doing here. And he's gotten some notable wins. He wins over Dragunov on Friday night. He pinned Carmelo Hayes in that big 10-man tag last week, which, don't you think they're going to come back to that? Of course they are. He's eventually going to get the United States Championship. I don't know what happens there, but I don't really foresee Tama Tonga pinning Carmelo Hayes to the United States Championship. The MFTs may get involved, and he may blame them for why he's not the United States Championship, and that may cause a ripple effect and cause a split happening between Tama Tonga and the MFTs. But I like this little sub-story that they're telling, and it got a little bit more advanced. They advanced it a little bit more later in the show when they had a little interaction with Tama Tonga and Shinsuke Nakamura in the locker room. So Dragunov and Tama Tonga here took place, and this was obviously for positioning in the United States Championship title picture. We'll pick it up after the commercial break. Tama Tonga was in control. So he's got a grip around Tama Tonga's waist, does Dragunov, and he managed to hit 2 suplexes until Tama Tonga escaped. Tama Tonga could not escape Dragunov's Constantine special, which he reason why the fucking lantern was so important to Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six to begin with. Now I'm supposed to care about the fucking lantern being stolen in the possession of Solo Sikoa, and now Uncle Howdy wanting to get the lantern back for the Wyatt Six. Is it about the lantern or the tag team championships? If WWE put as much effort into this fucking lantern as they would the tag team championships, maybe we'd actually be progressing the tag team titles to be a little bit more important, and maybe the tag team division to be a little bit more important. Whereas there is no division, and everybody's just watching Johnny Gargano in the back lay on a fucking crate. That's the tag team division. You got Fraxium and the Motor City Machine Guns looking up at Johnny Gargano, or looking at him on a fucking NXT crate. Yet we got the tag team division dying because they don't give a shit. Just weird behavior, man. Weird creative. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna stop the video. I think I made this long enough. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. I made this long enough. Until next time, I'll see y'all later.